City of Northglenn, Channel 8, keeping you informed of events in your community.
Good evening, and I would like to call our October 22nd regular City Council meeting to order. Joanna, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Dodge?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobar?
Here.
Councilmember Sowers?
Here.
Councilmember Leidy will be absent. Councilmember Downing?
Here.
Councilmember Brown will be absent. Councilmember Whitman?
Here.
Councilmember Duran-Mullica?
Here.
Councilmember Wilford?
Here. Thank you. Will you stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is there any response to citizen inquiry this evening?
No, Mayor Dodge.
Okay, thank you. Are there any agenda additions or deletions from council? None. All right, we will move right into, we have one proclamation tonight, and there is no one here to receive it, so I will just read it from the dais. This is a proclamation for Extra Mile Day. Whereas Northglenn, Colorado is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual residents collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas Northglenn is a community which encourages its residents to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. And whereas the City of Northglenn chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. And whereas the City of Northglenn acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 550 Extra Mile cities in America and is proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2018. Now, therefore, I, Carol Dodge, Mayor of the City of Northglenn, Colorado, do hereby proclaim November 1st, 2018 as Extra Mile Day in the City of Northglenn and urge each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but to also acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, or world a better place. Dated at Northglenn, Colorado, this 22nd day of October 2018. And they will be sending this proclamation to Extra Mile America. And it says here, the organization was founded by a single individual, Sean Anderson, who believes that one person, one organization, one community has the power to positively change the world. Thank you. All right, we do have a presentation tonight. I'd like to ask all the council to come down front with me also to present this award that we have. All right, we are all here. So tonight we are presenting our Fishing Derby Winner Trophy. And so do we have Ryan? You're Ryan right here. I remember your face. Ryan, come on up here. Ryan, your last name is Mobeck. Ryan Mobeck. You're 13 when you caught the fish. Are you still 13? Okay, still 13. Come on up here and stand by me so they can get you on the camera. Turn around. There you go. Great. And then your mom is here, Amy with the camera. All right. So before I present your beautiful trophy, you want to tell us the story of how you caught this fish? Like, give us all your secrets of what bait you used and where on the lake you were standing and all that stuff?
It was just kind of like a guess. I didn't really...
What bait did you use?
Power bait?
Power bait. Is that those red, icky things, red balls?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that's all, huh? And how long did it take you?
I'm not really sure.
You don't remember how long you were there? Wow. Mom and Dad want to shed any light onto the story?
Yeah, we were there for probably about an hour and a half, I would say, before we caught it.
Yeah, that's not too bad, right?
And we always go to the same spot every year, right, Brian? Every year since.
Does he catch something every year?
Not every year.
Not every year? How long was it? Do you remember? It says it here.
Oh, like 15 centimeters.
15 3/8 inch. How's that? All right, I bet you want to see it, right? Enough of this. All right. Why don't you open it up? Yeah. That way if you drop it, it's all on you. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Look at how cool it is. You have to hold it up and show it in our communications.
Okay.
Very cool. Okay.
Looks
You
good.
want to look over here, please? Thank you. And I'm going to get one with my phone, too.
Awesome.
All right.
Any last words you would like to share with us?
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. It's very beautiful. And I know that the council would love to shake your hand also and congratulate you. So you can put it wherever you say. Cheryl.
We always do fish.
Oh, you want to say forget it. Never do.
That's so cool.
Congratulations. Yeah, good job. Spread in the family. Yeah.
Sitting on the log when you got it?
It's pretty awesome. Congratulations. You're totally the best prize.
What's his name? Thank you, Brian, and come back next year and fish again, okay?
Yeah, I think that was his last year.
Oh, that's the last. Oh,
That's right.
You come back and do the car show. How's that? Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thanks for being here tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judy. Yeah.
We need Judy.
Do you want the wrapping?
I know.
You're welcome. Congrats.
They're like, yeah, I didn't name the fish.
Okay, our next presentation tonight is from the Youth Commission. It is their quarterly report. Come on up. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
There's only one of you tonight, huh?
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth from the Northglenn Youth Commission. And the first thing that we did this quarter was the 4-mile flapjack run on the 4th of July. We split into 2 different groups and we handed out water to the runners at the 1, 2, and 3 mile point. And it was a fun and early morning. And then on August 8th, on the National Night Out, we worked to improve connections between the community and the police officers while at the same time advocating for the Youth Commission. We loved to ride in the back of the police cars and also got to know some of the officers. On August 18th, we volunteered at Relay for Life. It's an event to raise money for the American Cancer Society, and we raised $1,600, exceeding our goal of $1,000. We had somebody on the track the entire time and also had some fun filling up on Snickers, playing Uno, and enjoyed some Chick-fil-A right before a big rainstorm. Thank you to Becky, Heather, and Carol for helping us reach our goal. Our current project is Little Libraries. the little library that we are trying to establish, we're looking into 3 different schools, and we want to improve the literacy rates of children and young adults in the community, and we ask the Boy Scouts to help this out. We're also looking to reach out to PTO presidents from the 3 schools, and hopefully this will be established by spring. Our flower bed on the edge of E.B. Rains, the Veterans Memorial bed, we put to rest a few weeks ago, and there will be more flowers in it this spring that are red, white, and blue in honor of the veterans. And our goals for the next quarter are to keep working on our little library, volunteer at Safe Street this Saturday, and Noel Northglenn, and the annual bike cleanup in December.
Very good. So can you tell us your name? I don't know if you're Elizabeth or Mariah.
Elizabeth.
You're Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Does council have any questions regarding the quarterly report? Jenny?
Thank you, Mayor Dodge. Not so much a question, but just a comment. You did a fantastic job. Thank you for coming by yourself, and we hope that maybe next time the Youth Commission will send somebody else to come with you. But you did a great job, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Marcy?
So I just wanted to say I'm part of the Northglenn Community Foundation, and it is definitely early getting out there to help us hand out water, but it's definitely one of those things that we wouldn't be able to do the walk without your help. It's a great support to have the commissioners come out, so thank you for doing that every year.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Just also to echo what has already been said, thank you so much, and thank the Youth Commission for all you've done to get volunteering in the community and doing all these projects.
Thank you very much for being here tonight, and you are definitely brave for doing it by yourself. So
Thank you.
Kudos to you. Thank you. All right. We will move to public invited to be heard, limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Statements shall be related to city business and limited to matters of community interest. Is there anyone who would like to come forward? Okay, seeing no one, we will just move right into the Legislative Policy Committee update.
Thank you, Mayor. So we just met right before council to discuss the policy statement. And we've got a new layout, which we'll be excited to share with council on November 5th. And then we did review previous comments from the study session and did revise a bullet under the environmental sustainability portion of the policy to read that we oppose legislation that would diminish the authority of local government to regulate environmental impacts to the city, which reflects some of the comments and concerns that were voiced by Councilmember Down. Additionally, we reviewed plans for our upcoming legislative dinner, which is scheduled, I believe, for November 27th. 29th, okay, at Perry's Pizza. And then finally we discussed updates from the Colorado Municipal League's Policy Committee concerning upcoming legislation for the 2019 session. So I'd be happy to share any of that information with council. If you are interested, let me know and I'll forward the information via email. That's all for tonight.
Okay. Are there any comments or discussion? No? Okay, thank you very much. We will move to the consent agenda. Is there a move to approve?
Move to approve.
All right. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Again?
Bad computer.
I'll close that vote and the consent agenda passes unanimously.
Thank you. All right. We have one public hearing tonight. Joanna, would you read the title, please?
A bill for a special ordinance considering the initiated ordinance regarding the Crook Reservoir, approving the same with changes that do not substantially alter the general character of the initiated ordinance to implement those portions of the initiated ordinance consistent with the City of Northglenn Home Rule Charter and Colorado law.
Thank you. This time I'd like to open the public hearing for the Crook Reservoir Special Ordinance. Is there anyone here who would like to speak for or against CB 1915? Seeing no one come forward, I will close the public hearing and we will move directly into ordinance's second reading, which is CB 1915 also. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Heather?
Thank you, Mayor Dodge. The item before you on second reading is the Croak Reservoir Special Ordinance. And this ordinance really accomplishes 5 things. The first is to further establish that Croak Reservoir shall be preserved as a nature area consistent with a prior ordinance, which is ordinance number 1456, series of 2006, again designating it as a nature area. The second thing that this ordinance does is to further maintain the water quality of the reservoir. The third thing is coordination of, I should really say continued coordination with the Colorado Division of Wildlife, which is meaning that staff will continue to work with that state agency to ensure the quality of the water in terms of the stocking of Croak Reservoir with fish, and continue to conduct fish surveys and analysis as necessary to ensure an overall healthy habitat of Croak Reservoir. The fourth item is city budget, that the city shall budget and track spending related to the water quality of the reservoir. And then the fifth item is the creation of a Parks and Recreation Advisory Subcommittee, which, as discussed previously at a study session, this creation of the subcommittee will be based on an interest basis. And if there is interest by residents to sit on this committee, then we'll bring this item to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board at their November 8th meeting for further discussion.
Thank you. Discussion, comments from council? Seeing none, I would just have one comment, and that is that I really feel that the ordinance as presented by the council is I think that we've gone the extra mile to try and align ourselves with what the citizens wanted when they brought the initiative forward. I hope that the petitioners are happy with it. I wish that somebody was here to actually speak about it, but seeing no one here tonight, I just want to say that I really think that we've gone the extra mile, and this is the best we can do considering the circumstances. So, I'm sorry, Jen.
No, thank you. I want to echo exactly what the mayor said, in that I think that this is a great way to really answer the call and to try and serve the concerns that the citizens and residents did bring forward. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who petitioned and who signed on and who let us know that Croak Reservoir is a valuable asset to our city. We agree with you, and I hope that everybody who signed the petition will consider applying for the special subcommittee under the Parks and Rec Advisory Board to help us make sure that we continue to take care of this asset and the gem in the city that we all love. Thank you.
Any other comments? None? Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CB 1915 on second reading passes unanimously.
Thank you. We will move to resolutions, beginning with CR 124. Joanna, would you read the title, please?
A resolution approving an agreement between the City of Northglenn and Barker Rinker CCAT Architecture for architect and engineering services for the implementation of Phase 1 of the Civic Center Master Plan project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Heather?
Thank you, Mayor Dodge. This is an exciting step forward this evening, bringing this contract to council for approval as part of the overall Civic Campus Master Plan implementation. Amanda Peterson, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services, is here this evening, as well as a representative from Project One, so we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about the proposed contract.
Amanda, I was just wondering if you might come forward just to kind of share a short synopsis of what you've gone through to get to this point.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Amanda Peterson, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Culture. Do you want me to go through the process that we used to make the selection, or back up from
no, just
master
how you
plan?
Made the selection.
Just the selection. All right. We did an RFQ process where we asked for potential bidders to submit a statement of qualifications. We received, I believe there were 5 of those responses. The staff team went through, read each of those responses, scored those based on our criteria, and we're all actually very much in agreement. We didn't have a lot of discussion at that phase. Really, 3 firms kind of stood out during that first phase. We then did an RFP process where we invited those 3 firms to complete a complete proposal. We read those proposals. They were scored both on their written proposal as well as an in-person interview process. 2 firms then came to the top there for all of us. Our third interview process, we actually went to the offices of each of those firms, kind of gave them the chance to talk to us in their own setting and talk to us a little bit about their philosophy and how they go approach a project like this. Ultimately, the team did recommend moving forward with Barker Rinker CCAT based on their qualifications, based on the projects they've done, the culture within their organization, and the thoroughness with which they responded to the RFQ and the RFP.
Okay. And it says that the design will be complete by early fall of 2019. Is that correct?
That is our time frame, yes.
Or the time frame, right? But that we will be soliciting a CMAR before that.
Correct. We'd like to follow a similar process that we did with the Justice Center. So our intention would be once we get through schematic design, so before the construction design set is complete, as we get through schematic design, we would bring on board the contractor, and the contractor would work alongside the architect for that final portion of design. I believe Jack, who's sitting behind me, there's Jack, has already started working on that RFQ. We'll follow a similar process for selection of that contractor. So we'll go through an RFQ and an RFP process and have them on board this spring is the intention.
Okay, thank you. Does council have any questions? No questions, but we're all really excited about this, okay?
So are we.
This is good stuff. So
Definitely.
we're so happy to be moving forward. Thank you so much for all your work on this.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I'll close that vote, and CR 124 passes unanimously.
Thank you. We will move to CR 125. Joanna, would you read the title?
A resolution adopting the 2019 budget of the City of Northglenn, Colorado, and appropriating the sums set forth therein.
Move to approve. Heather?
Thank you, Mayor Dodge. Before you this evening is the approval of the proposed 2019 budget. Jason Loveland, our finance director, is here who can provide an overview of what's included in the proposed budget if you'd like him to do so. One follow-up item that I'd share with council this evening is there was prior discussion and a request made by the Northglenn Urban Renewal Authority to look at the reimbursement by the Urban Renewal Authority and possibly reduce that amount. Debbie Tuttle, Jason Loveland, and myself, we met with 2 representatives of NURA and decided to go ahead and keep that $250,000 reimbursement amount keep it as it is proposed in the budget for 2019, and that we talk about it the first quarter of 2019 for inclusion in the 2020 budget. So that amount did not change.
So I'm wondering why they asked that. Why was the request?
The request stemmed from whether based on a couple of things, and Debbie, is Debbie still here? If you want to come forward and help explain, if I don't do this justice, activity in terms of the volume of work that NURA has going on right now. I think there's some thought behind there's less activity, so is there as much staff time being dedicated to NURA activities specifically? So that really prompted the question, well, how did we get to the $250,000 and what does that number represent? So we had a really good meeting, Jason, Debbie, and I with Kathy Novak and then Rosie Gardner, and we decided that it's going to take a little bit more thought and discussion to really come up with what does that formula look like, or do we do it completely different for 2020? So staff is going to survey other cities in terms of their relationship with their urban renewal authority and what that reimbursement piece looks like. And so we decided just to go ahead and keep it the same for 2019. Would you add anything to that, Debbie? Okay.
Thank you very much for the clarification. All right, are there any questions? Jenny?
Thank you, Mayor Dodge. I would like to amend the budget to include the Colorado Communities for Climate Action membership for 1 year in the amount of $5,000.
You need a second, correct?
Okay.
Discussion and vote?
And then it would be only on whether to add the amendment.
Okay. Is there discussion to add the amendment?
Yeah, so I brought this up at a study session, and I believe that there was some interest in it, and I wanted to bring it back to council now that we were formally taking a position on the budget. I feel like the last time we met, I laid out all of the benefits, and I continue to believe that this membership falls in line very nicely with all of the work that we're doing right now as a council to address climate change issues. For example, we're including in this budget money to assess our greenhouse gas emissions. We've adopted a sustainability plan. We're very conscious about our water. And so I feel like we're already making these efforts, and I think it's important that we be a part of this organization so that we have a greater voice at the state capitol, as well as greater camaraderie and access to information with the 20 other municipalities in our area who are also a part of this group, who are taking bold action to make sure that our residents are better served and that their health impacts are minimized.
Is there any discussion? Or
I think when we had the conversation, there were some outstanding questions as to whether or not it's an organization membership or an individual membership, and I don't believe we have the information on that.
I believe I answered that in that it's a membership organization. It's not for one individual, it's for our entire council.
I think we're on the fence with it, but that's fine. I think their membership fee is higher than most organizations of their size. I think it's steep, and I don't have an interest in partaking in it.
Anyone else?
I'm still kind of up in the air. I just don't see the benefit when we have so many other organizations that are really working towards the same end. And so I guess I would have to be a no, just because we have CML and we have several other organizations that are monitoring this same issue here. So, and we don't know anything about the organization, not that much. They haven't really been in front of us to really. I mean, you have, Sure.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a quick question. In this $5,000 annual membership, what is it exactly that we receive as a city or a municipality from the membership? I'm sorry, I just can't.
No, I appreciate that. And so they hold a number of meetings to address policy, take a position, and then they have a lobbyist at the state capitol that works specifically on climate issues that come before the legislature. Additionally, I believe that they do other educational work so that cities and counties understand the impacts of climate change.
Thank you.
And certainly I would like to say, if we did approve this tonight, they have offered to come to a study session and meet with all of us and help us fully understand how to best utilize our membership in the first year. And I think after being a part of this organization for 1 year, we can really evaluate whether or not there is a great enough impact in order to continue moving forward. But I strongly believe that we'll find that there is a benefit.
The only comment I have is I wish they had come before. That would have given us better information.
And I did ask that they come before, and unfortunately, there just wasn't enough time, I think, based on there being a new transition with city managers and, you know, being able to get in based on their schedules. But
yeah,
I just want to address it.
Yeah, I just want to make that, you know, because they should have made some effort to do it. Even coming to a public meeting and introducing themselves and talking to us during a presentation.
I mean, I hear that,
Yeah,
and I also
yeah.
think, you know, they're primarily made up of other city council members and other county commissioners whose meetings oftentimes overlap with ours. And so I hear you, and I want to make sure that it's clear that, you know, if we do approve this tonight, or, you know, we will have some time with them to figure out how we best utilize this membership.
One last question is just a process question. This is our last time to be able to formally amend the budget before that.
That's correct, yes.
Anyone else? I would just like to weigh in that I understand that climate change is a huge issue. I totally support the efforts that this group is doing. And really my only reason for voting no tonight is that I do think 5,000 is kind of a huge ask for the organization. I wish that they had something a little more affordable for smaller communities like us. I just feel like I don't want to open Pandora's box and have 5,000 for that, and then we start looking at a lot of other issues that we would want to put that much money into. I just think it's a lot of money, that's all. And I do think that CML does a good job, and just you guys down at the Capitol lobbying against climate change, I think you guys do a great job. So that's it. Anyone else? No? Okay. Joanna, would you open the vote? And we're voting on the amendment only at this point, please.
I'll close that vote. In the motion to amend CR 125 to add an expenditure of $5,000 for membership to the Colorado Communities for Climate Action passes with 3 no votes cast by Mayor Dodge, Council members Downing and Whitman.
Thank you. All right, then we go back to the budget, and is there more discussion from council?
Yes,
Julie.
I had a quick question. And Heather, can you lay out for me what the $2,000 for the school zone safety is?
Actually, I'll have Kent come up and help me with that. Or is this more of a Brooke question?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Is this the 200,000?
200,000, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. For the school.
I was like, that's pretty cheap.
I didn't even catch that.
I was processing
Everyone knew what I was talking about.
So it should be, there should be some rollover from this year into that, and then next year is we're kind of on a assessment and then construction. So next year will be the implementation of the 2 assessments that we're going to do this year, which is Stuckey Elementary and Global Village Academy.
Okay.
So those assessments are being completed in the final draft form, and then we'll meet with the school district and go over those changes and make sure that everybody's on board, and next year we'll bid that work out.
Awesome.
And just to add real quickly, as part of this process and in collaborating with the school district, we're going to develop a more specific criteria to use in terms of how we're going to select the schools to assess in 2020. Because this is an every other year effort with implementation in the off year. So we'll be having discussions with the school district on that.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good thing to look at how where our money is going into what school and for what reason. Great. Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Mayor. I am curious, under the same bullet that Julie was looking at, under projects for 2019 include, there's $246,000 for the Kiwanis bathhouse construction. We just, at the last city council meeting, we passed a number of, I guess, resolutions around contracts and buying, I think, fabricated buildings. What is this, to put it all together, like, what is this for?
Amanda can help explain that.
Okay, thank you.
And it's in the CIP. Or I can pull it.
Sorry, I had to ask Jason for help because I didn't think we were adding any funds. We are not adding any funds, but carryover with grants, making those accepted in the right year and when we're going to spend them, but between the grants and our portion, but we're not adding to that project.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then my last question, Amanda, you're good.
Okay.
It's not parks. Is about the city hall renovations for 375. I may be wrong, but I don't remember talking about that. And so
I haven't either.
I
haven't brought it forward yet.
I'm
You
just
wanna address
curious
it?
where
Right,
that's
yeah.
coming from, and if we haven't seen plans, why are we paying for it now? Like, tell me more.
Sure. You haven't seen it yet. Jason can provide the background, but I have an internal meeting with staff, I think in 2 weeks, to walk through the plan that was put together and then to make decisions as to whether or not we're going to keep certain items or tweak things. So it will come back to council at a future date. So part of me really looks at this as a placeholder in terms of there's a plan, and Jason can talk more specifically about that, but I think it's subject to change.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yeah, that's exactly right. In 2018, there was $40,000 budgeted to evaluate the space and to do the assessment. That work has been completed. We've asked the design group to put a kind of an estimated cost on kind of a full-fledged analysis that they had done, but we're still working through identifying the specifics. And as the city manager mentioned, that we'd be bringing that back to city council later on, somewhat serving as a placeholder in case we kind of look at the plan and the design and we say, hey, let's do all of it. That's the estimated cost.
To do all of it is the 375?
Correct. Yeah. So that has not come back in detail, as you mentioned, so you had not missed anything.
Okay. Good. Sure. Okay.
Well, you know, and I might be mistaken, but when we first asked to have a task force put together, we were under the impression that we were going to get periodic updates, and we haven't received anything. And so I really feel that this is really inappropriate, the way they're bringing a $40,000 for a placeholder is one thing, but when you haven't given us any updates, which that was part of the process that was supposed to have happened. Because you're going to have a full-blown plan to come to council, and we haven't seen a lot of the things that you have had options for. And council may have some other ideas.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's just a difference of, we know we're going to do it, so they appropriate the money, we do it, and we have savings, maybe, hopefully.
Well, yeah, and I don't have a
or we do a
problem
supplemental after
right.
that.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the process that's been going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Marcy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Marcy.
Can I just clarify, we approved $40,000 to have the study done that you were then bringing back to us, and am I hearing that it's just gotten done and then you're bringing it back, that you haven't actually made the choices, hence that's why we haven't seen anything?
That is correct. Staff has not met with some turnover. We've not reconvened and kind of met. October 29th is the date that we're planning on doing that.
But the 40,000 wasn't a placeholder. The 40,000 was to go through and do the consultation, very similar to what we did when we did the police department evaluation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. The 300,
and that has happened.
Yeah, the 375,000 would be to make physical improvements. And Jason and I have met once since I've been on board, and he walked me through the general plan as proposed based on the money spent for that plan development. And I had a variety of questions about what's appropriate to do and what's not appropriate to do. And so now I want to meet with the larger staff committee. And I apologize in not knowing about certain updates that were supposed to occur, so I can get that back on track. So this will come back to council for further discussion. And this piece, in my mind, is separate from, I know the police department's moved out of the building, and so this space out here, when you walk in the entryway, needs to be freshened up with some new paint, take some things off the wall, move some pictures around, that sort of thing, and that piece is separate from this space plan.
So is council okay with leaving that in, or would somebody like to amend?
I'm fine with leaving it in. I was just more concerned about the process, because it really needs to come to council, you know, as we have with other projects.
Oh, absolutely. There's design elements, there's contracts, all sorts of things that will be coming back.
Okay. All right. Are there other questions?
I just have I'm sure this is just a housekeeping matter, but in that projects of for 2019 included the fourth from the bottom, $250 or $250,000?
There is a zero missing.
$250,000.
That's what I thought, but
yeah.
I didn't know what you could do for $250.
Right.
Was it steel?
Jenny?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up. I can't remember. Maybe it was earlier this summer. We received council consensus to move forward with building a fence along Huron Street, across the street from the Huron Center. And I haven't seen any forward movement on that, so I'm wondering, A, will that be completed this year? And B, if it is not, is it included in the 2019 budget? Because I wasn't able to discern.
Right. Amanda can.
She can speak to that. It is in the 2018 budget for expenditure.
So yes, the additional I believe $50,000 might not be 250, so please don't quote me on that. 200,000 plus was approved through a supplemental appropriation earlier this year. Mm-hmm. It did take us some time to go through that process because we needed to have a survey done on the property. So we bid the project, but then we needed to back up a little bit, have a survey done outside of the bidders. We got that back. We've completed the bid process. We did receive one bid for the project. It is under the budget, and we intend to bring that forward here too within the next 2 meetings or so. I believe we're about 4 weeks out on that, and we'll finalize the contract and communicate with residents about easements for each of those fences.
Okay, great. So I'm hearing that it will be completed before the end of the calendar
year. It will be
year.
begun before the end of the calendar year. They, in theory, could complete it before the end of the calendar year if there are no weather days. So if everybody could ask for that, that would be great, but I'm not going to hang my hat on it.
Good luck with that.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Amanda. More questions? No. Great. Thank you, staff, for answering all the questions and all the work that you've done. I would just like to say for people listening or watching that the budget is $66.9 million for 2019, and that I really feel we're getting a lot of projects done that will really benefit the community. I mean, I can just read a couple off that are jumping out at me: Northwest Open Space improvements, Kiwanis Splash Pad construction, Sensory Playground repair, Civic Campus Master Plan, starting that phase 1 is insanely amazing. I love that we're doing that. We're also doing traffic calming, street repairs. I think we're doing a lot. We're doing a lot with the infrastructure for water and wastewater. We have a lot of big projects going on. So I think that $66.9 million, which is a huge number, I'm not going to say that it isn't. I think that we are putting it to good use, and I think that staff did a great job with the budget this year. So thank you very much. And if there is nothing else, Julie?
Just also another final comment I think would be thank you for Heather and Chief for the work that you guys did around the police officer budget process for 2019 and the proposals that you guys came up with, because I know that public safety is really important for our community, and I think you guys did a great job to make sure that we're doing what we need to keep our community safe. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 125 as amended passes unanimously.
Thank you. We will move to CR 126. Joanna, would you read the title, please?
A resolution adopting the City of Northglenn 2019 pay plan.
Move to second.
Heather?
Thank you, Mayor Dodge. Paula Jensen, Director of Management Services, and myself were here tonight to answer any specific questions that you may have about this item as well as the next item. So the funding for the pay plan adjustments, known as market adjustments, outlined in this memorandum are included in the budget that was just adopted for 2019.
Okay. Are there questions? Okay, seeing none. Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 126 passes unanimously.
Thank you. We will move to CR 127. Joanna, would you read the title, please?
A resolution setting minimum and maximum salary ranges for the City of Northglenn department heads.
Move to approve.
Second. Heather?
Thank you, Mayor Dodge. So this item comes before council a little bit differently than the last item, given the code references that you see in the memorandum. So again, Paula Jensen and I are here to answer any questions that you might have specifically about the department director pay ranges outlined.
Council have questions? Seeing none, Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
We'll close that vote, and CR 127 passes unanimously.
Thank you. We move to CR 128. Joanna, would you read the title?
A resolution establishing the mill levy of the City of Northglenn, Colorado for the fiscal year 2018, collectible in 2019 for municipal purposes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Dodge. This item is certification of the city's mill levy, also known as property taxes. So you're certifying 11.597 mills. And just as a reminder to the public, 7.597 mills are dedicated for general operating activities here at the City of Northglenn, and 4 mills is restricted for purposes of major road and street reconstruction projects. Based on the county assessor's evaluation, this is projected to bring in approximately $2.6 million for general use and $1.3 million for restricted use for major road and reconstruction in the 2019 budget year.
Thank you. Questions? Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 128 passes unanimously.
Thank you. We'll move to CR 130. Joanna, can we group this together, 130, 131, and 132, please? Thank you. Would you read the titles, please?
So CR 130 is a resolution certifying delinquent municipal charges to the Adams County Treasurer for collection pursuant to CRS Section 31-20-105. CR 131 is a resolution certifying delinquent nuisance abatement charges to the Adams County Treasurer for collection pursuant to CRS Section 31-20-105. And CR 132 is a resolution certifying delinquent water and sewer charges to the Adams County Treasurer for collection pursuant to CRS Section 31-20-105.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve? Second? I'll second.
Second.
All right.
I know.
Heather, would you give us the background, please?
So these 3 items before you this evening they're basically delinquent accounts that we're moving forward to the county and placing liens on the properties. So be happy to, Joanna and I can talk about any one of them more specifically if you'd like, but that's a very simplistic way to describe what we're doing.
Questions? Seeing none, Joanna, would you open the vote, please?
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 130, CR 131, and CR 132 all pass unanimously.
Thank you. We move to a discussion item tonight, which is the Ralston House update. And I don't see Nate, so it must be Kent tonight, right?
Yay.
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 Good evening again. Ralston House update. So if you've driven by, the old Ralston House is no longer there. So they continue to work on the inside of the Ralston House, getting it ready. They're working on the site work, getting that stuff cleaned up. And we're still looking for a December construction completion. You'll notice on the memorandum that there's some highlighted items for change orders. And if you have any specific questions on any of those, I can answer those questions.
Questions? None? Thank you very much. We're excited. December will be here before we know it, so thank you, Kent.
Yep, thank you.
All right. So we move to communications. Jenny, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 4 items tonight, the first of which is I attended the Colorado Municipal League's Policy Committee, as I mentioned in the legislative report last Friday, to hear about some of the legislation that was being initiated by a number of municipalities across the state. And I will be more than happy again to share that with any council member who is interested in knowing what some of those items look like. But just a little sneak peek, one of them includes extending rain barrel usage from just private individuals being able to use them to also municipalities potentially being able to collect and store rainwater for uses of, watering plants or watering our beautiful gardens. So that's something that's potentially exciting to be watching. Secondly, I attended the new zoning code meeting, public hearing session last Wednesday at the Justice Center. There were a lot of great folks who came out to hear about the status and the direction that we're going, and there was a lot of support for accessory dwelling units. However, there were a number of questions as far as whether or not they should be owner-occupied or not, and there were some individuals who had really strong feelings and some who didn't care either way, but were really excited that we were considering that item as something that we could potentially do under our new code. I did live stream the meeting, and I'm excited to share that there were over 42 folks who tuned in and watched it who weren't able to come. So potentially that's a tool in our toolbox that maybe the city can look at using across all public meetings maybe in the future. Next, the Save a Lot community meeting is coming up this Thursday, October 25th at 6 p.m. at the Justice Center. And when Save a Lot signed the lease to be a part of the Huron Center, they agreed to do a public meeting to hear directly from our residents about the type of products that we would like them to carry so that they truly are serving our needs. And so this is them coming to Northglenn to talk with our residents and hear directly from them. And so I hope that everybody will come out. Again, it's on Thursday, October 25th, 6 p.m. at the Justice Center. There will be childcare available, but you do need to give the city a call and request a spot for you, or for your children. Additionally, I'll be live streaming the meetings, so if anybody has any questions and you're not able to physically attend, you can pop in on the live stream and ask your question in the comments, and I will ask your question at the meeting. Finally, everybody should have a ballot by now in their mailbox, and it's really important that every single person cast their vote. And there's a lot of really interesting things on the ballot this year, and I just want to highlight that there is a drop box right outside of City Hall. You don't have to have a stamp on your ballot if you drop it off at City Hall. So figure out who you're voting for and get your ballot in. That's all for me tonight. Thanks.
Okay, Julie?
Yeah, so last Friday was the Business Appreciation Breakfast. So I just wanted to do a huge thank you to Debbie and the team and staff, everybody who was there who made that event happen. It was absolutely amazing. Love the videos, love meeting the winners of the awards, and figured out a great place to go. I was at the Beltran table, and so I was like, oh, I'm stopping by for some tacos. So it was great just to meet all the businesses. Wonderful event. Absolutely amazing. Good job. Thank you, guys. And then my only other update is I attended Dr. Cog, the Denver Regional Council of Governments, last Wednesday. It was a very well-attended meeting. After last month's meeting was not so much, but the group was able to have the quorum to support Proposition 110 and to oppose Proposition 109 for transportation. So we were able to get it done a little later than we wanted, but it was a great meeting.
So I also attended the Business Appreciation Breakfast and just wanted to say thank you to staff. Those are many, many months that go into putting together this event. We have many sponsors that support it, NERA included. that make that financially possible. It is quite the endeavor. We also have a great committee that comes together to help with the nominating of the businesses, and they going to give up a lot of their time to review them, to evaluate, and to have that meeting. So we greatly appreciate all of the businesses and community partners who come together for that. I also wanted to just mention that Wednesday was Anything Libraries board meeting, and their staff has put a lot of effort into creating 2 budgets. One budget if the mill levy passes, and another budget if it doesn't. One of the big discussion items was the ability to make many of the branches be available and open on Sundays, which some of the branches are not currently. And also the Commerce City branch does not currently have Monday hours. So they put a lot of work into creating 2 budgets. I can't imagine having to go through that. And I think their staff was very tired after that process. But good things to come for them. They are doing site visits for 2 of their new locations. They are very, very aware of and acknowledge that Northglenn is interested in some capacity of, excuse me, having a branch of some type. It is in their forefront, but as of right now, Reunion and North Thornton are the 2 properties that they're looking at.
Without repeating everything everybody has said, I do want to give Debbie kudos for the breakfast, probably the best one in the 4 that I've attended. I guess it was awesome. And backing up what Jenny said, vote. Filled out my ballots, I've turned in my ballots, my phone will stop ringing.
Yep. Okay, thank you. And I have to chime in too. I already thanked you, but really staff went above and beyond. The breakfast moved fast-paced, seamlessly. We honored some great businesses, and I would like to say if you weren't there and you want to view the videos, I've seen them now on Facebook, YouTube, and our website. Is there something else that's on? I mean, that's enough probably, but you can see the videos that are highlighting all of the businesses that won awards. And I would just like to say congratulations to all of the nominees, and thank you for doing business in Northglenn. We appreciate you. The annual Senior Pie Bake-Off was held last Friday, and the judges included our city manager. She was lucky enough to be a judge this year. Officers McNeely and Lund, and my husband was lucky enough to be a judge. They never asked me, they asked my husband. I don't know why. So there were over 20 pies. They had to choose winners, and I just would like to say the first place went to Randy Boswood for an amazing candy bar pie that tasted like peanut butter, and it really was phenomenal. Second place went to Sharon Whitman for her blackberry apple pie, also yummy because I tasted that one too. And third place went to Jack Wallace for an apple pie. So the seniors always come out in droves for that. It was a good event. And I would like to welcome Egati Dispensary to their new Northglenn location next to the post office. I attended their ribbon cutting along with Councilmember Brown, and it was a pleasure to meet the owners and tour their facility. So welcome to them. A reminder that Safe Street Halloween is happening this Saturday, the 27th, from 5:30 till 9 at Northglenn High School. And candy donations are still being received at City Hall and the Justice Center. It's always a great family event with tons of spooky decorations, care of Chief May, and the decorated classrooms, care of the Northglenn High School students. The theme this year is Hocus Pocus, so that's fun, and I hope to see you all there. That's it.
And to echo with probably just about everyone, I attended the business appreciation, and thank you, Debbie, you do a great job. Every year it gets better. I think this, I agree with Antonio, this is probably the best one we've had. And I love the trophies. I just love them. They're really beautiful. Yeah. So great job with that. Very good. And as far as Beltran goes, we go visit them occasionally, you know, so they're pretty good. Also, I went to the zoning meeting in the afternoon, you know, and was hoping for a few more folks, but we did have some attendance and good questions.
Jordan?
Just a few things. I don't want to echo everything else again. One thing is to, Jenny, thank you for doing the live stream. I think that's helpful, even for me being unable to attend that evening, being able to tune in. That's really a great resource in our toolbox, as you like to say. So I appreciate that, and I can't wait for Saturday Safe Straight. I enjoy going every year, but I think showcase the talent of our chief and the efforts that he puts in every year to make such an incredible theme. Hocus Pocus was always my favorite, so I'm really excited for it this year. And if you need a home for those props after you're finished, I got a great one in Ward 1. Thank you for everything.
Joanna?
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Heather?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay.
Nothing
Nothing
tonight.
tonight. Let me down. Okay. All right. We move to public invited to be heard, limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Nobody wants to come up, right? There's no public here, so we're going to skip it. And I will say it is 8 o'clock. That was a pretty fast meeting, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.